Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Get Corporate Ready. Now I've got a question for you. Can you speak up when you've got something important to say at work? Or would you rather just stay silent and avoid speaking at all costs? Well, that's our topic for today, and we're going to speak about what it takes to be assertive, what assertiveness is and what it isn't. So stay tuned if you are struggling with this, because I'll be able to really help you identify some key tips that are going to help you get started in this journey. Now, for those of you new to my platform, welcome. My name is Bohlale Paile, and I use this channel to share tips and tricks on how you can get corporate ready. Now, like I said in this video, we'll be talking about being assertive. A lot of people ask me, Bohlale, how do I grow in confidence? How am I able to build the ability to speak up when I need to make sure that my viewpoints are heard? Because a lot of times I shy away, I go back into my shell, and I'm too afraid to even speak. This is such an important skill for you to have in a corporate space. There's going to be many times where you're called into meetings, where you have to contribute, where you have to present on something, and where it's important for you to raise something or raise a point, maybe where you disagree with someone, or maybe where you just have a very different viewpoint to what they're saying, and you maybe want to add to what it is that they're saying, right? A lot of times, depending on who's around you, you decide to either shrink back and not say anything. But that is the opportunity for you to really be honing in on this skill. The more you do it, the better you get at it. It's not something that's kept aside for people that are just naturally extroverted or naturally communicative. It really is something that anyone, irrespective of whether you're introverted, extroverted, whatever the case may be, it's a skill that you can build. And I'm going to share with you 3 tips that are really going to help you unpack it a little bit and understand what it is to be assertive. Now, one of the first things that I want to share is that it's important to listen carefully, right? At any point where you want to portray a viewpoint, where you want to agree or disagree with someone, so important that you understood what it is they were saying, that you heard what it is they were saying, right? So being assertive is really about listening carefully to what people are saying before you respond. Don't be the kind of person that just shoots from the hip and you decide to respond, because a lot of times what tends to happen is that as someone is speaking, you already have a viewpoint in your mind and you already want to say, no, but that's incorrect, or no, I disagree with you. And by doing that and focusing on what it is that you want to say, you actually miss the key points that the person is actually portraying, right? And sometimes when you don't allow the person to finish till the end of what they're saying, you might find that they actually have answered your question, or they've actually addressed the thing that you wanted to now suggest, right? So make sure that as someone is speaking, listen very carefully to what it is that they're saying, so that when you then respond, you're responding with an understanding of what they're saying, and you demonstrate that you've heard them. And the best way to go about doing this is really by making sure you reiterate what they've said, right? So if you disagree with something, important for you to say, so what I understand you to be saying is A, B, C, D, right? And I'd like to agree with point A and B, but I think from a point of view of C, I would suggest that we do this and this and this because of this and this and that, right? So you really need to demonstrate the ability to say, I've heard you, I've listened to what you're saying, and I agree with this and this. Can I suggest something different for that, right? So really it's about articulating yourself in a way that's sensitive to what the other person has said, so that it allows there to be a really great communicative environment where they feel heard and therefore they're willing to listen to you. Second thing that's important, always observe the pitch and tone of your voice. Body language is one of the most important pieces for you to be mindful of when you're responding to people, because you may say one thing, but your body language and the tone of your voice may say something else, right? Especially now in the day of online, where sometimes cameras are off, the way that you speak and the way you articulate yourself in the tone of your voice really communicates whether you are being aggressive or not aggressive, right? So always observe how you speak. You don't want it becoming a fighting match, because at that point, you're really not going to get anything across to the person, and they're going to be defensive towards you as well. So make sure that as you speak, lower your tone and make sure that you are approaching the conversation in a very calm manner. But if you're in person, also make sure that you are not using gestures that are very aggressive, right? In terms of the facial expression, or maybe the way that you wave your hands or pointing, right? There's certain things that come across very aggressive. So make sure you're calm in the way you come across. But like I said in the initial point, make sure that you demonstrate that you've heard the person that you're about to respond to, because that's going to be a key skill for you to really ensure that they're listening to you when you now speak. And the last point for me that's important for you to be mindful of, never be rude or disrespectful to someone as you speak to them. Now, when you're responding to someone and you're really trying to be assertive around disagreeing on something, make sure that you don't use sarcasm, right? Don't use sarcasm. Don't be derogatory towards the person at all. Make sure that you're keeping the way that you speak very professional, and make sure that you show respect to the person that you're speaking to, right? People respond to you the way that you speak to them. So even if someone has come to you in a very aggressive manner, you still have the ability to respond in a calm way, to show respect in the way that you speak to them. And that in turn will also invoke them to lower their tone and to make sure that they are a lot calmer as they respond to you. So make sure to never be rude and disrespectful to someone as you are speaking to them, because that really is not a great conversation starter. Now, one thing that you guys must always remember is that when you are in debates like this and when you are in conversations like this, it's not a personal attack, right? Never take things too personally when someone is speaking to you or is maybe presenting an idea that they know you are not fond of or you don't like, or whatever the case may be, right? So make sure that you never take things personally, and that way it will help you not to respond and attack the person personally as well, right? So make sure that you are objective in what you are saying, and that you really ensure that your body language, your tone really says, listen, I'm here, I want to work this out, let's speak through this. I hear your viewpoint, this is where I'm coming from, where can we get to a middle ground, right? That is the point of it. And guys, the more you practice these tips that I've given you, I promise you, you'll be able to develop that skill of being assertive. Assertiveness, really at the core of it, is being able to communicate something whilst being sensitive to other people's viewpoints. And that allows you to also just not be a doormat, right? So there's times in corporate where you'll definitely come across insensitive people that really couldn't care less about how they say things, right? And those sometimes are the most difficult people to respond to. But the more you shy away from saying something, the more you become a doormat to these people, right? And it's so important for you as you grow in your career to develop this skill, because this is something that you're going to need for many, many years, right? Whether you're speaking to a client, whether you're speaking to a colleague, whether you're speaking to a spouse, a family member, being assertive is being able to really demonstrate what you are thinking, how you are feeling, but in a way that's going to allow people to really be receptive of what you are saying. There's a big distinction between being assertive and being aggressive. Make sure you're not erring on the side of being aggressive, because that's really not going to help you in the greater scheme of things. I hope that this was helpful. I look forward to posting more material that's really going to help you guys elevate and grow in your skill set as you climb the corporate ladder.